Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Massive crypto pump yesterday. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday has been three pretty big days for the crypto markets. We've obviously been positioned correctly in a big Bitcoin long, we're in a Solana long, we're in an ETH long, and we are in a XRP long. And things are looking really good, guys. XRP is starting to really make some moves, very bullish above this 50% level. Today, I'm going to focus on some price targets. I got some interesting data for you guys. We're going to have a look at, when are we taking profits? I've barely taken any profits this cycle. I have been holding altcoins. Sometimes it sucks. But we are here for the long run, guys. I'm going to go over some interesting data. So definitely stay for that. But for now, let's get straight into Bitcoin. The New York session's opening now. I think this thing is going to rip. We always know when it breaks out of that long-term range, it does go for a big move. We saw that range break over here, big move up, broke through that 49K, huge move up, broke through that 73K, huge move up. And now we're breaking through that 110K, and this looks like the huge move up, guys. I would not doubt this move. We could easily see a candle like this today, or next week, or over the course of this month. I do see something like this happening. This is typically what happens, and I do see altcoins having a huge pump, guys. We're going to go into altcoins and why I think they're going to have a huge pump. But for now, Bitcoin looking good. If you took this trade with me, you can easily just put your position into your stop loss into break even and ride this move up. I'm personally targeting 35K. 35K is my target for Bitcoin. We'll obviously see what happens as price moves on, but 35K is my move. I do see, we'll probably see some bearish divergence. This is normally what happens. So you might see price come up, start making higher highs, and this start to make lower highs and roll over. And that's going to be our sign to take some profits. But if we have a look at the RSI over here and just zoom in, I am expecting this upper bound to get tapped. So what you can see here, guys, is the RSI. And since here we have RSI's been on a downtrend. So the momentum is technically slowing down. We are seeing higher prices though. So this is the minimum target, in my opinion, for the RSI. Something like that. Will we break through and climb into that 90 region? I'm not sure. I very much doubt it. So I would be on high alert for something like this. And obviously some kind of bearish divergence normally works very well. But my number is 35K, or, wherever this hits this roof here. So we can see that we have from the previous tops, we have this top over here, this top over here. And if you connect those lines and extend it right, we do have this target over here. And it's looking like the move is now. So we could see, anything between, let me just make this accurate for you guys. We could easily see, 35K if it happens over the next few days, or next few weeks. And if it happens more towards the end of the year, we could see 150K. This is my target region over here, this red box. I can move this red box a little bit more forward. Awesome to see a break at the moment, guys. This is my target zone. Whenever we hit this and see some bearish divergence, then I think we will be taking some profits off the table over there. Let's get into Ethereum, guys. Ethereum is obviously a huge position. We did take this long, of course. We are pumping with this long. We spoke about the golden cross for the whole week already. We spoke about the long straight off this retest of 2,500, of course. This 50% level, we broke through it and tested from the underside. We went long over there. My only concern about ETH at the moment is that we have come straight into this ascending resistance over here. So, this is a place where you would typically be taking profits. However, I do see a bigger move for Ethereum. I do see, at least this trend line hits over here. There is this level here at about 3,300. So 3,300 is my TP1 for Ethereum. That's going to be a small take profit, of course. And 3,300, and then of course $4,000. $4,000 is a great target for Ethereum, in my opinion. But I am, considering much higher prices for Ethereum. But we'll only know when we get there. The reason I do think that is because of Bitcoin dominance, of course, guys. Bitcoin dominance, you can see over here. Bitcoin is obviously extremely bullish. However, we have lost the 50-day EMA over here, guys. So important. We have lost the 50-day EMA right over there. And this is where altcoins are starting, or will most likely start to get those big moves, guys. Lost the 50-day EMA. The next line of support is the 200-day EMA and this SR region over here. So I am seeing a move into the zone over here. This will be, we saw a very big move for altcoins. Of course, this has dropped 2%. Of course, Bitcoin's also gone up. And if Bitcoin continues to climb to that target of 135K, with Bitcoin dominance dropping like this is going to be a huge move for altcoins. This is where we will see ETH at that 4K. However, guys, if we zoom out, in my opinion, we've only just started, okay? Target 1, 52%, target 2, 43%. This is, of course, for Bitcoin dominance. I do expect these levels to get hit at least 52%. If we don't hit 52%, it'll be quite sad for altcoins. This was the bearish case for altcoins. This is the bullish case for altcoins. So I am most definitely seeing a move there for altcoins all the way down there. And we should be taking some profits in the zone. We can take half the chips off the table. We can see the timing of it when it happens, but this is what I'm expecting to happen for the crypto cycle. So that's Bitcoin dominance on the weekly time frame. On the daily, you can see that we have broken down. If we do close underneath this red candle today and over the weekend, I'm expecting a big continuation throughout the next month. And that would be, of course, bullish for altcoins. If you go into Solana is struggling a bit. However, it has taken out the 200-day EMA over here. So if we can start to see, more daily candles close above this 200-day EMA, that would be looking very good for Solana. And I am expecting higher prices for Solana as well. Obviously, in the Solana long, from about that $148 region, of course, after the breakout and the perfect retest, we had to go long on this. TP1, $210, TP2, $260. And personally, I might be taking most of my Solana chips off the table around this $260, but let's see. I'm way more bullish on Ethereum than on Solana. Of course, we can have a look at the Solana Ethereum chart. This is why, guys, I am very bullish on Ethereum. We're obviously losing these levels, a little breakdown over here ever since the death cross, which we obviously spoke about. And I am expecting lower prices for Solana Ethereum, which means higher prices for Ethereum, in my opinion. So that's what I'm looking at for there. XRP, obviously bullish breakout over here. We also caught this long. TP1 is all-time highs at $3.36. That is the minimum target personally for XRP over there. Let's have a look at USDT dominance, and we are now at that support level, the level at which we saw in May, and we do want to see this level break down and see a close underneath these lows. This would be basically confirming that crypto is going to rip. And with USDT dominance breaking down, with Bitcoin dominance breaking down, this is the perfect storm, guys. This is the perfect storm for a massive altcoin move, something like this. I'm sure you guys haven't seen this one. This is, of course, Total 3, which is the total crypto market excluding Bitcoin and ETH. And you can see we are starting to get some traction. I would love to see this high get taken out as soon as possible. If this high gets taken out, target is, of course, $1 trillion, which would be very bullish for the market. And of course, we do have much higher targets for this. We are expecting a blow off top. We are expecting at least $2 trillion, in my opinion. I do think we're going to go parabolic here. I do see $2 trillion for the altcoin markets. And if we go into total crypto markets, where I'm expecting $5 trillion, so between 4.5 and 5.5, let's call it $5 trillion, is my target for the crypto markets. The cycle, you can see we have now broken out and we're on our way up there. This is, of course, from a macro point of view. If total crypto market hits $5 trillion, whilst the market cap of Bitcoin hits that $3 trillion, $3 trillion mark, the rest of the market will be in altcoins. That's why we are going to see those massive moves for the altcoins. This is why I am bullish on the altcoins, of course, but definitely expecting at least $4.5 trillion. This is where I'll start to consider taking chips off the table, the cycle, guys. But definitely do not sleep. Do not sleep on Ethereum and do not sleep on XRP. If you guys took the longs with me, congratulations. We have spoken about the profit targets for those 4 trades. Now, one thing I want to speak about quickly is this. This is, of course, cryptocurrency monthly exchange volume. Okay, I put it on all time. This is, of course, on theblock.com. This is the crypto data. What you can see is that we haven't even taken out last cycle's volume per month. So we saw $4 trillion worth of volumes across all the crypto exchanges in May 2021. Okay, we've come nowhere close to that. Well, I mean, we've been fairly close, coming in at about $3 trillion. But you would expect, with Bitcoin being much higher, with of course, the stock market being higher, with more money in the air, you would expect that we are going to see higher than $4 trillion. So this could be a signal that we are going to be watching. I would personally be watching out for, $5 trillion or something like that, something ridiculous, guys. It has to be ridiculous at the end of the day. We should see something ridiculous. What else looks interesting, guys? Meme coins, have a look at that, because we are starting to get a little bit of a move here. This was a potential trade. This trade's still on the cards, of course. I don't personally think I'm not in this trade. I would like to see it get above the EMAs over there. Brett starting to make a move, guys. Breakout over here. It's currently at 6 cents. I am seeing, 30 cents for Brett. Big move there, guys. I am loaded on this. So look at Sui, guys, because Sui is starting to really perform. This is, of course, my biggest or second or third biggest, one of the biggest spot holdings in my portfolio. And currently it is wrestling with that macro 50% level at $3.54. So if Sui can get above here and consolidate above here, I am expecting the higher low and higher high structure to play out. And of course, my target for Sui is that $7 or $11. I do think we can see a nice blow-off move into these high targets. And guys, it does sound, it does seem silly and sound ridiculous, but these are the price targets that we're most likely going to see this cycle. Guys, it does get ridiculous. It's obviously been boring. It's been slow. But remember the trade that we took in Sui last year, from September last year. We took this trade all the way up to these moves over here, like a 400% move on Sui without leverage. I think we 10x that. It was a huge trade for us. So we are expecting that to happen again, guys. And remember that the cycle doesn't end with Bitcoin dominance this high. So it has to flood into the altcoins. It's how it works every single time. And if you're not bullish yet, I'm not too sure what's going on, because this is a huge flag that we're going to see high prices. So look at Hype quickly. Hype taking out all-time highs as well. If you're still in this long trade, congratulations. This was an easy trade, basically just a breakout trade. I love trading breakout trades. I think it works the most. You wait for the breakout, wait for a few days to close underneath there. Bang, stop below obvious area, below 50-day EMA, below the candle where we got that liquidity grabbed over there. Big push up, breakout candle, easy trade over there. Yeah, personally not too sure where I'm going to be taking profits on this. Of course, it is a new token. I will probably be having a look at other tokens and seeing where a potential top is for the macros before having a look at Hype. But I don't see why this, shouldn't hit these upper targets. $100 Hype, easy, guys. So if you are in this trade, if you are spot Hype, well done. I'm personally holding on to these trades, of course, but I don't think we're going to get a huge continuation for now. I think we could see a bit of a pullback. The long-short ratio over here is differing by about 4%, which is quite a big differential, of course. We saw $1.14 billion of liquidation, which is, this is the sign of a pump. We normally don't see this at tops, guys. So I would normally see this when it is the start of the move. We normally see, like a distribution pattern that doesn't look something like that at the top, of course. My only concern is USDT dominance. I would love to see this close below 4.36 today. If this closes below 4.36 today, I think it is the perfect storm. And we're going to have to see how crypto reacts when it comes into this range low. So if you look at USDT dominance, guys, you guys can go back into my previous videos. We've spoke about this descending triangle for a while now, something like this, and a move down. This is where the end of the cycle is most likely going to happen, coming into that range low. This is a very obvious move, guys. Descending triangles normally break to the downside. And I've got this yellow line over here. You know, I'm looking at the cycle to end in Q4 of this year or Q1 of next year. So this is where these yellow dots come from. This is the start of Q4. This is the end of Q1 of next year, of course. So I am seeing USDT dominance distributing or accumulating, crypto distributing when we do come into this box. I think the timing will be right over there. I do see this low being tagged. You know, is it going to be only 2.5% or are we going to come below 2%? We will have to find out. But of course, descending triangle, break to the downside, very common. And then, you know, most likely going to go into a scary bear market for a long time. So guys, if you want to make money taking longs, now is the time. And the perfect signal for that will be USDT dominance closing below that 4.36% today or this week. Could be on Sunday. But for now, honestly, most things are bullish. If you do see it above its 50 and 200-day EMA, it is looking strong. Let's have a look at Ondo. Ondo finally getting its move up, but obviously meeting the 200-day EMA. If we can start to close multiple candles above the 200-day EMA, very bullish. If you're on this long, you're finally in the green, you know. It takes patience to be underwater in your trade. Ondo is also one of my biggest spot positions. Personally, I'm extremely bullish on Ondo and Sui. Those are my main two, obviously, besides Ethereum and whatnot, other blue chips. But let's see, how's Chainlink doing? We'd like to see how Chainlink's doing. Holding up here. Okay, so we were basically looking at this breakout the other day saying, yes, we have broken out, but we'd like to see Chainlink trading above the 200-day EMA. So today and yesterday it finally closed. If we can close this weekend above the 200-day EMA and kind of looks like it's reclaiming the zone over here, this could be our long signal. You know, get a move up there, get long on Chainlink over there, stop below 50-day EMA, even below these lows, and obviously targeting higher prices, something like that. Chainlink is one that I do like because it does have that bullish market structure. Of course, we saw those lows in 2020. And what you can see, guys, is we had the first push up. We created a higher low, another higher high, and another higher low. Of course, it's been chopping around, but this is bullish market structure. There's so many other tokens that do not have this, and people are so bullish on them. Something like Optimism, guys, lower lows. This is something you can't be bullish on. If your token's making lower lows, you cannot be bullish on it. We have to see between the lines there. Ondo making higher lows on the macro time frame. You can be bullish on Ondo. If you have a look at Sui, what's Sui doing? Sui's making higher lows on the macro time frame. Guys, this is bullish. You have to separate the men from the boys here. Something like Aave, higher lows, guys, higher lows. This is a bullish project, guys, just because of the higher lows. We can have a look at something which is making lower lows. We have a look at Optimism, Sonic also making lower lows. So there is a case to not be bullish on Sonic. I'm personally going to wait for a move up into the zone over here before selling. Of course, we are in a bull market at the end of the day. Have a look at Lido. Lido, lower lows. Okay, you know, lower low over here. Obviously had that big move up in March, Feb. And if we've taken out that low, it's not looking good. So this is the kind of thing that we can have a look at. Looking at this list here, of course, you know, have a look at that. Look at those lower lows and higher lows. And you tell me if it is bullish. So that is kind of what I'm, you know, having a look at. So, you know, not expecting a straight line up. We could get a pullback. We could easily get a pullback back to 112K, of course, the previous breakout zone, even come and test these highs over here, or even come down to 105K, something like that. But let's see. Probably not, but let's see, guys. Remember that we have seen a lot of liquidations, so it could be like a slight pullback. but for now, very bullish. So we have gone over those price targets. We have gone over my thoughts, and of course, we will be ending the stream there, guys. Thanks so much for joining the stream, and we will see you guys